So roughly 2 or 3 years ago, I was someone who was dead scared at the thought of fighting, and that can be any fight, any kind of fighting, like street fighting or like martial arts and all those kind of things. So even though I did go to karate for like 2 or 3 months when I was like 10 or 11, I'm 18 now, but still I could just never get over the thought of getting hit by someone or actively engaging in something like physical combat. But when I started watching this particular anime, all of that went away, and it really helped me with my mental image of thing, and not just with martial arts or things like that. It became because of one particular character from the anime that I'm going to talk about. That one character shifted my mindset entirely. And if you're someone who always doubts themselves before anything, like if you want to set a new goal, or if you want to achieve your dream physique, or even if you like are doing martial arts and you want to win some tournament or anything like that, for your confidence and mindset, I would highly suggest that you watch this anime or read the manga, because that character's personality and persona completely changed how I think about myself. And after watching that, I can almost never doubt myself. Like I like seriously doubt myself. Of course, you'll have like rational doubts about things. Like for example, if you want to become very rich, then you consider things like how much time will it take you, and there can be ups and downs. But particularly if you're talking about can I do this, or do I have the capacity to do this, this one character will 100% change your mindset. And the anime I'm talking about is none other than Hajime no Ippo, or Ippo Start in English. So that's a boxing anime. If any of you doesn't know, I'm sure if you watch anime, you must have seen its reels, and these days it's very popular because the all that self improvement or all that kind of you can say motivational kind of reels always have Hajime no Ippo's reels in it. But the thing is, when you watch that anime, and I'm almost caught up with the manga as well, all of those characters, like the cast is so vast that you can find some kind of character that is relatable to you, because there are characters in that who are naturally gifted, who are like tall, who are strong from from the time they are born, and then they get into boxing. And then there are characters who have nothing and then they get into boxing, and each one of them finds their way of life, finds their confidence, and how they will approach things. But the one character that I am talking about is none other than Takamura Mamoru. So if any of you has watched Hajime no Ippo, they'll understand exactly why I'm talking about this character. But the sheer confidence this guy has in the anime and the manga, like you cannot even fathom such kind of confidence in someone, like someone who's a real person. And if you compare that with a real boxer, I would say it will be kind of similar to Muhammad Ali, but it's even beyond that. And if anybody if anybody has watched it, or like they don't care about spoilers, so I'm just giving a spoiler that I'll talk about some of the things that happen in the anime and in the manga. So if you don't want to listen, then skip a little bit ahead. But that guy, his plan is initially in the anime to get 4 world titles. And like realistically, of course, all of this is in an anime, none of this has happened, Takamura doesn't exist. But just for the sake of your mental, you can say your mental improvement, or taking inspiration from someone, because that's all what fiction is really about, right? That you find relatability to some extent in characters which are not real. But anyway, this guy, when the anime starts, he's already a Japanese champion, like a national champion in boxing in his weight class. And then he plans on going to 4 world titles. Basically, he wants to be the best in the world at 4 different weight classes. So that's a really big thing in, you can say, boxing or any martial arts in general, especially 4, because most, if you see things like MMA, UFC, in that the most someone gets is like 2 belts or 3 belts at max. The you're the best in the world, that kind of title you only get 2 or 3 max, and that guy wants to get 4. So in the anime, I'm pretty sure he gets still like he gets 2 world title fights. But there's just 1 or 2 quotes that from this guy. I'll even put the screenshot of that from the manga, which I have saved in my phone. But those two are the most coldest quotes I think in almost all of anime. And I also plan on getting them up my wall or something, or I want to make a giant sketch of that guy and put it up there. just for motivation and things like that. But the first one is, I'm pretty sure it's during a fight when he like he's at the brink of losing and his toe is broken. He can't. I'm pretty sure this happens in the manga, but it's a world title fight and he's thinking of all those things. He can't think clearly. He's about to lose this match, and then suddenly he remembers like all of his arrogance basically, because if you see in the anime, that guy has like he's most boastful about everything and he has the evidence to back it up. Like he shits on his friends all of the time, like all of you are weak, and they can't even say anything to him because he's bigger than them first of all, and he fights in a bigger weight class. But other than that, he also is strong. Like he doesn't lose any match in the entire anime, manga, anything. So he kind of has that thing to back him up as well. He's stronger than all of them. He has more cardio. He trains the hardest out of all of them, and all of these things. So, but his arrogance, like this is the kind of personality which I think all everybody should have to some extent. Like, of course, you shouldn't be boastful. You should be humble all the time. But that winner's mindset, that does have some kind of element of this. In like every winner has this mindset, right? So what he says is that he's losing, he's like it's the last round of of the fight or something like that. It's a very tough scenario for him to be, because his foot is broken, everything's broken, and he can't think straight. And at that time he doesn't even remember like he's about to lose the match, right? But at the same time, he just goes like he thinks in his mind, and he says, everybody in the world knows Takamura Mamoru can do anything. Like that's just the hardest line of all anime. Like how can you not be excited about something like this, right? And you could just replace like Takamura Mamoru with your name and think of this for your own self, and think of how much of a confidence booster this is, because after this you can never doubt yourself, right? Because you already know that there's nothing that you can't do, and it's true for everyone. Like 90% or 95% of things that you want to do, you can physically achieve them. So this is the number one thing that you have to keep in mind before you set on any goal, is a firm belief that you actually have the capacity to do it, and you will either pursue that goal and achieve it, or you'll die trying. Like that's the only way you should go about any of these things, because otherwise what are you doing anyway? Like you shouldn't half-ass anything. Like even the guys who are like on weight loss and things like that, they go like, oh yeah, I'm trying, like they don't give it their all in the gym, and then they're like, oh yeah, but I'm they do these like small things to convince themselves they're doing anything. Like they would not eat a particular food but eat a lot of the other thing, and then convince themselves that no, I'm doing this thing, that's why I should be losing weight, but I'm not, I wonder why, blah blah blah. But if they went all out on that thing and they're really like gritting their teeth, sweating, doing everything they can to achieve their goal, it's just impossible for you to not get it. And this is in anything, fitness, fitness, like getting rich, making good relationships, networking, anything that you can think about, there's always the capacity to improve in it. And the second quote that I want to talk about from that guy, and another side thing by the way, is that this guy like literally defeats a bear in the anime. Like that's not humanly possible, and not even like the world's strongest man in real world can defeat a bear, but he does it. So it's just kind of that thing, like even though it's unrealistic to some extent, you just get the like mindset of the guy, right? Because in a real world, most people, if they see a bear, they wouldn't just like, they would accept their fate, right? And they would just accept death. But there will be a small percentage of the human population that would think that, okay, this is a really bad situation, but I have to maximize my chances of success and I will die trying that. That's the kind of mindset this guy also has. And he like fights with the bear for some time and then catches him with like a clean punches, and then the bear gets knocked out. And like he tries to get the the what do you call it, the skin of the bear, but the bear goes away because he's not killed, he's just knocked out. But the thing is, that guy's mindset is still great. And the other thing is, if you know anything about boxing or martial arts or anything like that, there's a crucial element of it that most people don't know, who don't know about these things, is weight cutting. So for example, if I'm like 63 kilos right now, I'm relatively lean, right? But if I was a boxer or an MMA, my fighting weight would be somewhere like 55 kilos, that I would have to cut 8 kilos from an already lean self of mine to have an advantage over the people I'm fighting, because the lesser weight you're fighting at, the smaller people are, and you can say the less punching power and all those kind of things. And that guy Takamura Mamoru, I'm pretty sure he's 6'1", and he fights at like 4 weight classes below the weight class where he's supposed to fight at for his height. So his weight cut is crucial. So in that time, he, like everybody, some of his other friends and fellows are complaining about things like, oh, I can't cut weight, it's so hard. And then he talks like, if you want to go down this path, don't remember the exact line, I will put it up. It was such a cool manga panel as well. But the thing is, he says that if you can't win, if you aren't winning right now, it's something along this line, that if you aren't winning right now, you should stop complaining and just lick your wounds. This I remember particularly well, that you should lick your wounds in silence until you actually win. So that's also a really relatable thing even in business as well, so not even just fitness, because ask any business owner in the world who's like successful right now, they will say that majority of the time, majority of the hard work they put in their craft, it went unnoticed and nobody realized what they were doing, how much effort they're putting in, and to everyone it just seemed like a waste of time. But then the one time it got successful, everybody is a fan of you and everybody's asking you how did you do that and all of that thing. So that perfectly applies to anything in life, because if you, for example, like I do drawing sometimes, so I'm trying to get good, and of course if you see my sketches right now, like any experienced artist would not judge me for it, but they'll say that it's not good, right? It's not a good piece of sketch that I just made. But and anybody else, like they might even make fun of me like, oh, why are you drawing this bad, like just leave it at that point. And that's the thing, like a rich person will never judge you for starting your own business, and a fit person, a gym goer, will never judge you for exercising even though you're fat. It's always the losers. You'll never find a hater more successful than you. So like I highly recommend everyone, like I literally recommend everyone, even if you don't like boxing, if you're like never into fitness, anything like that, just watch this anime or read the manga, anything, and I promise you won't regret it. And you won't, it's not even like boring, it's the most, one of the most exciting anime that I have talked about. And the hype, oh my, like I'll, there are some great AMVs. If you don't know what an AMV is, like anime music videos, like one of them is such a great anime music video about this character that I'm talking about, Takamura Mamoru. So, and yeah, another thing that I want to talk about, that Takamura Mamoru does in the anime, is that his older brother is super successful, right? And they run a great family business. But this guy, because he wants to pursue his boxing career, he lives in like a very cheap flat, eats barely anything, and only survives on the like small amount of money he makes from boxing. And there's also another scene in the manga, and I can't remember if it's animated yet, but there's a scene that his older brother, he's playing like high school football, right, or basketball or baseball, something like that, and he's the best in their team. Like his older brother is best in the team, but the other team is shit, so the team is losing. And the since the older brother of Takamura is a captain, everybody's like bad mouthing his brother. And Takamura at that time is only like a teenager, like 13, 14, something like that. And he's in the crowd, like in the crowd stands, he's hearing all these people say about these things. And then the way the narrator again pointed out this thing is like it was a dark day for this high school or something like that. And then there's a manga panel which Takamura Mamoru has like a guy, he's holding up a guy, and there's 20 bodies in the stands. Like he just beat up everyone who was bad mouthing his older brother, even though he isn't like very close to him. He's just like, you ain't like talking shit about my family. And another thing is that I'm not like saying it's a good thing, like you shouldn't do this because violence is bad like this, because everybody should have like self control over, you can say like if somebody is talking to you verbally, you should be able to attack them verbally as well. You don't need to use your punches. But it's just the mindset, like he probably did not know at that point in that story that he was good at fighting, but he was like, fuck it, like I'll fight anyone. So that's the kind of mindset I think you should have at life, that even if you're unsure about something, you should just have the confidence in your mind to go at it anyways. And again, I highly recommend everybody, like anybody watching this video, to watch that particular anime. And I hope it resonates with you and it excites you as much as it does to me. So thank you for watching, see you next time.